What's going on, guys, my geeks and gamers? It's me, SlammyOyo, back with another video, and today we are going to be discussing my favorite fallen civilization of Skylanders, the Arkeyans. Now, Giants is my favorite game in the series, and the Arkeyans have a big role to play in that, so I'll be going through each game to see their entire history in the Skylanders series. For the record, all of this data is coming from the base games and the Skylanders wiki, and if I get anything wrong, feel free to tell me in the comments. And no, I won't be making small references to Skylanders Battlecast because, well, I'm lazy and I don't care.
I would like to say though that this video is not going to be covering any kind of theories regarding the Arkeyan civilization. However, there is a video that was just released not too long ago by Neon Batteries. I have a link in the description for that. He discusses something about the Arkeyans actually being portal masters before, so if you want to learn more about that, definitely check out his video. It is amazing.
With that out of the way, let's begin. So the Skylanders and figures that are Arkeyan are Drill Sergeant, Chop Chop, the Arkeyan Crossbow, and Crypt King. Starting off with Chop Chop, he was actually created by the Arkeyans through the use of undead magic to make him an elite guard. Chop Chop looks very Arkeyan and is equipped with a traditional Arkeyan blade and shield. He uses said sword and shield in his moveset with a bone bramble attack by striking his sword into the ground. Drill Sergeant is, who would have guessed, an Arkeyan drilling machine that was left to rust when the civilization fell, but luckily Terrafin found him and Drill Sergeant became a Skylander. He has drill shooting attack, drill dash attack, and a little minigun on his head. The Arkeyan crossbow came in a battle pack for Swap Force with Grim Creeper and Thornhorn Camo. It's just used as a standard magic item that deals damage to enemies. There's not really much about this thing as, you know, it's a magic item. But still, I thought I'd mention it. Side note, according to the wiki, the robotic parts that Drobot found were Arkeyan, so that makes him even cooler to me. Anyways, Crypt King is the last Skylander to discuss, and he's actually not as Arkeyan as I initially thought. He's a knight spirit that stumbled upon a huge suit of armor in an Arkeyan weapon vault and decided to possess it, which is honestly really cool. He uses a Traptanium sword to do the sickest combos in Skylands, shoots swarms of bees out of his face, and possesses his sword to do even cooler attacks. It's such a shame there aren't as many Arkeyan Skylanders, but I'm glad we got at least a few. Okay, I'm just gonna get this one out of the way. Apparently Blaze Brewers are incorrectly listed as Arkeyans in some old Giants guide. Yeah, these guys. I don't know why, but okay. The first real enemy here is the Arkeyan War Machine, which is probably what you think of the most when you think of an Arkeyan. I know I do. These guys are such icons in the franchise, and I'm not 100% sure if they're inspired by Iron Man, but I can imagine it being possible. They attack with a normal elemental cannon as the turrets do, punches, and a shockwave in Giants. They first appeared in Spyro's Adventure in the level Arkeyan Armory, and you actually control one and fight one, which is really cool. They also appear in Giants in the Secret Vault of Secrets level, and although they don't actually do anything in Autogyro Adventure. There's also Machine Ghost Arkeyan War Machine with a blue color palette that appears in Glacier Gully, throughout some levels on the Dread Yacht, and in the final battle against Arkeyan Chaos. A small bit of backstory on Machine Ghost for a moment. His blue Arkeyan War Machine was actually won by Ermit in a game of Skystones, but he abandoned it after learning it was haunted, which, to be fair, is reasonable, but Machine Ghost is harmless. I'm surprised he didn't hate Ermit after being abandoned, though, but yeah. Anyways, Arkeyan Defenders were introduced in Spyro's Adventure, and they attack with their giant pikes once their shield is down. They only appear in Quicksilver Vault and Arkeyan Armory, and have not made an appearance since. There's also the Arkeyan Hammers, which only appear in Dragon's Peak expansion level, and they're the same as the Defenders, but just with a darker color palette. Arkeyan Jousters are what people might remember more often thanks to Skystones in Giants, and only appear in said game. They have the same attack as the Defenders and Hammers, and there's two types actually. The red and gray non-electric Jousters, and the green and yellow electric Jousters. The wiki says they appear in Time of the Giants, Secret Vault of Secrets, and Bringing Order to Chaos, but I swear they're in more levels, but hey, I could be wrong. Defense drones are these drones that come out of the ground and only go away once the nearby control towers are destroyed. They only appear in Arkeyan Armory, Secret Vault of Secrets, and Autogyro Adventure. Now, Arkeyan Ultrons are crazy cool machines that deal way too much damage. I swear, they're so annoying in Spyro's Adventure. They have scanning lasers that can hurt you and shoot bomb circles from the sky onto you. They appeared in Molten Mine, Quicksilver Vault, and Arkeyan Armory in SSA, and Secret Vault of Secrets and Autogyro Adventure in Giants. These little turrets, known as Arkeyan Blasters, are in the last 3 levels of SSA and bringing order to chaos in Giants. Okay, I'm getting tired of naming all the levels over and over, so if they're from SSA or Giants, I'll just say the chapter number and game from now on, so just bear with me here. The Arkeyan bombers are only in Giants and throw bombs that you can actually throw back at them. They appear in chapters 6, 11, 14, and 16. Arkeyan Shield Juggernauts, now we're talking. These fellas are some of the most challenging enemies in Giants and are super cool. They slam down with their shields and even shoot lasers once their shields are put together. They appeared in chapters 6, 14, 15, and 16 in Giants. I also briefly remember them in an episode of Skylanders Academy. Does anyone still talk about this show? Moving on, Arkeyan Cracklers have this duplication illusion, but the trick is to see which one is moving faster than the others. Defeat the wrong one and it explodes and deals damage to you. Defeat the right one and all the clones disappear. They appear in chapters 9 and 11. Arkeyan Duelists are also a big threat after they charge up, and it's hard to knock them down since they literally have iframes. They have a Joust and Sweep attack, both of which are lethal on hard and Nightmare. They appear in the last 3 levels of Giants. Arkeyan Snipers are these little dudes that hide in sewer lids and, as you guessed it, snipe you from far away, and they only appear in chapters 14 and 15 in Giants. Arkeyan Barrel Bots are from Rampant Ruins and Swap Forest and shoot lasers at you. Shame they're only in 1 level. Arkeyan Knuckle Dusters, having one of the most fun names I've ever said, do basically what the Barrel Bots do, but better. They appear in the Glumshanks fight, who also makes his tank out of Arkeyan tech, and Motleyville. The Arkeyan Rip Rotors, having a less fun name but still great, have a spin attack that makes them invincible and then slam down onto the ground. They appear in Rampant Ruins, Motleyville, and Cloudbreak Core. The final enemy on this list is Arkeyan Slamshocks, which, as the name implies, slams down on the ground after holding their arms up for defense. They appear in Rampant Ruins and Motleyville. Now onto the actual history of the Arkeyans. They were the original protectors from the darkness, but a lot of their history is unfortunately unknown. Most of what is known is that they experimented with magic and technology a lot in order to improve their machinery. However, they pulled a Cyrus Borg from LEGO Ninjago and advanced their technology way too fast. They even discovered the tech element itself and were able to merge magic and tech together. The power-hungry Arkeyans outweighed the good-hearted ones, and soon they just decided to take over Skylands itself. The Arkeyan king led his army with the Iron Fist of Arcus and conquered like crazy. During this time, they discovered the eternal magic source and kept it guarded in their armory. This is the part most people know. The first Skylanders, the Giants, confronted the king and defeated him and his army, locking them in a vault. However, the Giants were swept away through the Iron Fist of Arcus and were gone for 10,000 years. There is also the Machine of Doom, which was essentially a trap, but it was capable of destroying the core of light. And guess whose interest was piqued by that bit of info? Chaos tried to use it, but failed since it was a trap. But Boomer was able to control the mech and escape. Unfortunately, it broke during his flee. Then of course are the events of Giants, but I'll get into that later. And that is all that's known about the Arkeyans' history according to the wiki. Since Activision decided to not go as in-depth with these guys, it's hard to get a timeline and real backstory on them, but it is great that we have what we got. Honestly, I was expecting there to be more details about them in the story scrolls across the games, but boy was I wrong. There's still a few that mention them, but like I said, they're mainly just mentioned. The first scroll is from Spyro's Adventure, and of course it's found in Arkeyan Armory. It's titled Arkeyan History and says, "Long ago, the evil Arkeyan sorcerer kings who lived within dark cities deep underground met their doom. The free magicians of Skylands combine their strength to bind the royal city of Arcus in a vault of eternal sleep. All that remains of their decadent empire are their machines, toiling away in the darkness for all eternity. Moving along to Giants, there's Arkeyan Memory, located in the level Glacier Gully, which says, while Arkeyans tend to remember things above and to the side of them, they have a hard time with things physically below them. Odd as that may seem, it does explain why they generally avoid burying the treasure they acquired. Those who did place treasure in spots regarding a drop in elevation to find would almost always forget about them. Then there's those wacky Arkeyans from Troll Home Security that reads, while not known for their sense of humor, Arkeyans did enjoy playing the occasional prank, particularly in their secret Arkeyan Vault of Secrets. The prank involved hiding a teleporter under things like pottery and then asking someone to go grab said piece of pottery. The unsuspecting target was suddenly teleported away, giving the prankster the closest thing Arkeyans have to a laugh. Next is Arkeyans Before Dressers from the Oracle that says, the Arkeyans took great pride in their complex system of using light beams to pull platforms around, and this was once the preferred method of storing valuables. That was until they invented the dresser. It is quite possible, though, that some purists left a special item or two out on those platforms, and that is where they remain to this day. Lastly from Giants, there's Roboto Ball in the Lost City of Arcus that describes, Roboto Ball was once a popular sport among Arkeyans. Their favorite part was that Roboto Balls themselves have the tendency to explode. Made for some exciting action on the field, but also led many accidental explosions when these Roboto Balls were used at home, which in turn led to property damage and the occasional reveal of hidden treasure stashes. There is no direct mention of Arkeyans in the Scrolls and Swap Force, which is unfortunate but makes sense since the previous game was all about them. Only one Meditation on Boom scroll talks about Arkeyans, and that's Chapter 1 from Soda Springs, and I'll let Flynn say this one.
The name Flynn comes from the ancient Arkeyan word for awesome. In fact, Arkeyans have over 100 words for awesome, and all of them are Flynn.
The last mention of Arkeyans in this series from the Story Scrolls is from the 8th Chaos Diary entry in Superchargers, titled, It Has a Voice, and I'll also let Chaos take the wheel on this one.
I wonder whatever happened to my old Arkeyan Conkertron. Yes, maybe I could just switch their brains. Then I'd have two mindless robot servants to do my evil bidding. Ingenious!
Sadly, Imaginators had no story scrolls at all, so they're out of the picture here. I do wish we got more details about them from the story scrolls, but alas, we got what we got. Moving on to our last topic is game appearances. Of course, as mentioned, they've been around since the series debut, Spyro's Adventure. The last 3 levels providing us with enemies, an NPC named the Weapons Master, and a whole level based around them with one of the best level themes in all of Skylanders. In this game, it seems that Arkeyans are mainly activated if their species needs to be, along with this switch in Arkeyan Armory. In Giants, they're practically everywhere, like, need I say more? Okay, maybe a little. Chaos returns from Earth banishment through a portal at a toy store.
Who said that? Are you
He finds Conkertron and goes on a quest to use the Arkeyan Fist of Arcus to reawaken the Arkeyans and use them to take over Skylands. Once defeated on Nightmare mode, a small cutscene plays with a large amount of chompies surrounding the fist. In Swap Force, very few Arkeyans appear in Rampant Ruins, with a few enemies in parts of the background. Trap Team has next to no reference of Arkeyans besides Crypting and the first chapter of Meditations on Boom. 2 tracks in Superchargers and Superchargers Racing have Arkeyans in the background and parts of the track, those being Arkeyan Forge and Temple of Arcus. Lastly, in Imaginators, the only reference of them are in the racing track from Superchargers and the background you can take a selfie with in the Tech Sensei realm. So that was all of the Arkeyan characters, lore, story scrolls, and appearances in the Skylanders franchise. Again, if I missed anything, let me know in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe. It's not required, but it helps out a lot. Anyways, I'm Sami Yo-Yo, and have a great day.